Erdi Yetish is born and bred in Austria, but he says he's had enough and is planning to close his businesses and emigrate to Turkey. He made this decision around 6 months ago when the new government took office.
Because of the racism I experience here, I know that many others suffer as well. I'm planning to return to Turkey next year. My wife wears a headscarf and unfortunately, I'm not able to walk freely because of racism. They look at you differently.
The Austrian government is made up of a coalition of centre-right and far-right parties. In early June, it announced the closure of 7 mosques and said 60 imams could be sent back to their home countries. Now, a politician from the far-right Freedom Party is further inflaming tensions. In a statement, Johan Gundernes said,
"All those who have voted in the Turkish presidential elections for Recep Tayyip Erdogan are clearly much better off in Turkey than in Austria."
Across the capital Vienna, there are reminders of the Christian victory over the Ottoman Turks. The monument depicts St. Francis trampling on a Turk following the battle in 1456. Many Turks here feel the anti-Turkish sentiment in Austria is historical, but have become more prominent since the far-right Freedom Party took up ministerial positions in government. And the latest remarks by a Freedom Party member of parliament have highlighted past prejudices.
They try to cash in on a public sentiment fueled by populism that Islam in general is dangerous, something which should not be amongst ourselves, something which should be at best tolerated but sidelined, but not necessarily become part of our mainstream way of life. I was very, very saddened. I think everyone has the right to a free and fair vote. This is what some critics argue always would not exist in Turkey.
There are 600,000 Muslims living in Austria. Half of those are Turkish, and they seem to be the main target of populist politicians.
All the far-right populist politicians will condemn and ban the Islamic culture in Austria, and this is not okay. You can't imagine a Turk living in Austria without Islam. You can't imagine an Austrian Turk living in Austria to give up his religion, to give up his cultural values.
The rhetoric has consequences. There's been an increase in hate crimes against Muslims.
Unfortunately, his discourse is poisoning the climate in Austria, and the people that suffer are the minorities. Since 2011, we've been seeing that more and more Muslim women are becoming the target. And I think the difference between the generations, in particular my generation and my sons, is that this will be more and more poisonous.
No one is sure what the future Austrian political landscape will look like. But for some, like Erdi, they are not willing to hang around and find out. Asad Beg, TRT World, Vienna, Austria.